Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop, and I'm going to be creating the summer foodie themed layout you see on the screen. Also, I'm going to explain my material selection process in detail, essentially how I created a summer foodie themed kit with a bunch of general themed product from my stash. So here's what I'm going to be using, and it really is a mixed bag. I have paper from Vicki Boutin and Simple Stories, stickers from P13, and stamps and dies from Elizabeth Craft Designs and Fawn. And over time, I got all of these products at the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. So I'm going to link up the shop as well as all the products that are still available in the description box below. And I think most of them are actually. Before jumping in, I have two things I want to mention. There is an online crop happening now, August 20th to 22nd, 2021, over on the Facebook group Scrapbook Nerd Friends group, and there are challenges with prizes. Also in the group, there's a sketch album with over 100 free scrapbook sketches by Milena Whitty-Wiss, and that album is there all the time, and it's growing all the time as well. And that's actually where I found my inspiration for today's layout. So head on over to the Facebook group. You'll find information there about the crop as well as tons of inspiration, and I'll put a link to that group below as well. So you're about to see what's on my desk, and I matted two photos in advance, and these are number one, photos of chicken wings in our backyard smoker, as well as the meal we created to go with it. So now what I'm going to do is show you how I put together a kit with general themed product for a summer foodie themed layout. So I have cardstock there, white and black, and I have that yellow daisy paper. It's from Vicki Boutin's Color Study collection. Great for a summer page, also for a foodie theme page. It's a great general motif for a foodie themed layout. Gingham is an obvious choice. That one there is from the Simple Stories Kate Nash collection. And the other two papers that I brought in are both from Vicki Boutin. The yellow one from the Color Study collection, and that graph paper is from Storyteller collection. That's great for journaling, by the way. I love it. The only real theme product I had are these 3 sticker sheets from P13 from a collection called Around the Table, but they are really small, so I knew I needed bigger embellishing. So I dug into my tools and I found this flower die that is from Fawn. It's called a stitched flower frame, I think. I also have these label dies. Those are called retro labels from Elizabeth Craft Design. Really fun for a kitchen themed or foodie themed layout. And I have these dies as well from Elizabeth Craft Designs. They are called Viewmaster Text dies, and I'm going to be using the one Simply the Best. So here are the 2 alphas I selected for my title, those large black foam alphas. Those are from Simple Stories, and that small alpha book is from Simple Stories as well. And you're going to see I have the sketch that's popped up in the top left-hand corner. So what I'm going to do right now is cut down a bunch of paper. So I'm going to be creating that border that you see on the top of the page as well as on the bottom. And I'm also going to be creating a layered photo mat. Now later on, when I adhere these pieces to the page, I will put measurements on the screen. Right now, I want to talk about selecting paper for a foodie themed layout when you only have general themed products. When I create a foodie themed kit, here's what I think about: kitchens, tablecloths, and aprons. And for me, that's florals, checks, as well as stripes. So as you can see here, that's exactly what I went for. I don't have stripes, but I do have the florals and the gingham. And when you're creating a themed kit with general themed product, if you keep this type of thing in mind, in this case, it's a foodie themed one, if you select your material with this in mind, it's going to set the overall mood and feel for the page, so that when it comes time to embellishing, even if your embellishings are very general themed, you saw earlier I selected floral dies to create flowers, I selected text dies, even though those are very general, with the overall mood and feel created with the paper selection, you should still end up with a layout with the theme that you are going for. So you'll see that hopefully throughout this process. As you can see here, I've adhered the border to the top and the bottom of the page. I'm doing it a little bit different than Melina's. Hers is kind of scalloped at the top. I'm keeping mine straight. I also adhered that photo mat together. I'm using 2 photos. She used 3. I'm going to keep that photo mat separate for the time being. As you can see, I'm playing around with my title. My title is going to be Dining Al Fresco 2021. I have 2021 and Al Fresco on wax paper for placement, but I'll wait to use that sticker book because those are kind of fragile. Anyway, I'll use those when I create my embellishment clusters. But what you see me doing right now is creating embellishments. And I'm starting with this stitched floral frame die from Fawn, and I also have a stitched circle die there. So I'm going to cut out a bunch of these. I do a bit on screen, but then I stop and continue a little bit more off screen because it's kind of repetitive. Actually, it's hidden underneath that sketch that's placed on the top left-hand corner of the page, but you'll see them in a minute. Anyways, I'm coming in with that other die there. That one there is from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I'm just running it through, and it says Simply the Best. And then what you'll see me do is get out a circle die, and I'll cut out a circle or a half circle in that graph paper that I plan to fit in underneath that semicircle underneath the words Simply the Best. But I do want to talk about general embellishments for a themed layout, because you can see in this case right now I've created flowers. I'm using that text Simply the Best, and later on I'll come in with a few other things, but so far it's all pretty general themed. However, it still can work for a foodie themed layout. Simply the Best, well, the food was delicious, and flowers, well, obviously that's good for summer, but flowers have that kind of homey, kitchen-y feel as well, as far as I'm concerned. So I had to keep an open mind when I was selecting tools for this themed page. Now you see me coming in with these stamps from Elizabeth Craft Designs. They are called retro labels. Those are new to the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop, and they are fantastic. I'm really excited the shop has them. I've stamped out 2 of them. That's obviously good for a foodie themed layout. I'm going to stamp out another thing here. You can see that little row of stars, and it has the word rating. That is from another stamp set, actually from P13, from that Around the Table collection, a tiny, tiny stamp set. And what I did was I stamped out that row of stars, and I took one of the smaller labels and stamped out around it. So what I'm going to do right now is simply fussy cut out these labels. I am the world's worst fussy cutter. However, these labels are just straight lines with angled corners, so it was super, super easy. Anyways, those are all going to be part of my embellishments, and then what I'll do is come in later on with those stickers that I showed you earlier, which were themed embellishments, and I'll tuck those in a little bit later on. I'm showing you there, I cut myself out another circle. The one I had cut out earlier was just a little bit too small. So what I want to do right now is ensure the words Simply the Best are going to be placed on the white part of the page, because if they go on the gingham, I'm not going to be able to read the words. And that's partly why I waited to adhere that photo block to the foundation page. So I'm playing around with placement. I'm going to be creating a visual triangle with 3 embellishment clusters, all in different sizes. They're all going to look a little bit different, but there's going to be a lot of repetition with color and all of that. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, that's what you see me playing with right now, and more or less I'm following the sketch. You can see where the embellishment clusters are there. I kind of changed them up a bit towards the top, but I am creating a visual triangle. So I'm playing around with placement. I do plan to do my journaling on those labels that you see at the top right corner of the page. And once I'm happy with that, what I'll do is start adhering everything to the page. Now, the trickiest part, as far as I'm concerned, is getting down these words, simply the best, and that circle. It's not exactly a perfect fit, but because that simply the best is kind of open, I was able to play with it a bit so that it fit around the circle. What I wanted to do, you saw me go in there with a pencil and mark that semicircle of graph paper. I just wanted to make sure that it was adhered behind the photo at the right level so that those words would fit perfectly around it. And once I got that placement set and I knew where those words were going to land, I was able to place that, adhere that, I should say, photo block to the foundation page. So that's all down now. And now what I'm going to do is adhere that words, those text, to the top of that semicircle. You saw that I tucked in a yellow flower behind that, just a little bit peeking out from underneath. And I'm using this Nouveau Deluxe adhesive just to add those letters above that semicircle. Now what you see me doing is adhering the flowers down towards the bottom there. You can see I have one kind of falling over the side, the right-hand side of the page. I'll come in and trim that down later on. The same thing for that flower at the top of the page, as well as those labels. I just have them kind of coming out the side. That one at the top right there, that gets moved around a little bit later on. You'll see me do that. I come in with the trimmer. I didn't quite get it trimmed properly, so I trimmed it a bit with my scissors. Now I'm coming in with my title. So I started hearing the title. I'm putting it right underneath that photo there, and I continue with this off screen because it's kind of repetitive, and you can kind of see just above it in those block letters from that sticker book from Simple Stories, I put the word dining. Now I'm still hesitant on 2021. I find it kind of big, but I end up using it a bit later on. And I'm coming in with those stickers from P13. So I find one there, it says best meal ever. I punch out a circle. I want to pop that up on foam adhesive. You can see I put that star rating underneath that as well. I'm also looking at the other stuff, and I find this one there, it says possibly the best meal ever. So I'm going to put that up towards the top. I'm playing around with placement. I like those words closer to that photo cluster. So at this point, I decide to move down that flower and journaling box area a little bit towards the bottom. And you're going to see later on that gets moved up again about another ½ of an inch. Anyway, all part of the embellishing clusters. It's all part of the creative process. Oh, this video is getting long maybe. So at this point, I decide to put the year in 2021. I went to see if I had smaller numbers, but I didn't. But it ends up, I quite like it. And the only thing I actually added beside my journaling is I did put a little sticker that says, "So good," in that photo on the left-hand side of the page, kind of in the bottom corner of it. So you can kind of see as well, I also added some staples to that journaling area as well. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be absolutely thrilled if you did. Same thing for my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. And don't forget to head on over to the Facebook group, Scrapbook Nerd Friends Group. There's tons of stuff going on over there and lots of inspiration. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.